live on the other YouTube. Yeah, okay, cool. Right. If you're watching an archive version, you might want to fast forward by about 12 minutes to the top of the show. Rolling coverage of Yellow Jackets today in the UK, in France, throughout EuroDisneyland. Yeah, alright. So if you're watching an archive, you might want to fast forward about 12 minutes or just go off and do something more useful. And if you're watching live, God bless you. Hello, Gillian Bland. First person came on Facebook. Hello there. Yeah, so this a special show to show some support because I can't be there. Yeah, I can't be there, frankly. In fact, I'm actually in the wrong country. So it's a bit difficult for me to be there today. But I wanted to show some support. And I know that a lot of you folks that can't be there also would like to get involved as best you can. And so here we are. We can have a bit of a chat. We got our Witcher popping on, Dave Witcher, bless him, at the top of the show in just a few minutes' time. And we got Bernie Gamage popping in a bit later as well, aka William Prentice, who is an expert on the Melanie Shaw situation. And God bless that deal there. And so anyway, yeah, okay, right. So look, guys, going to be just a few minutes. I'm just going to grab myself a quick coffee. And then I'll see you then. All right. Okay. Let's have a good show. And God bless the yellow jackets. Yeah. Yellow vest. Yeah. Okay. Copyright free music. Facebook. Yeah. Blimey. Yeah. Hey everyone. Hey Helen. Mitch. Sue. Lord. Baron Powley, Von Kassenberg, John Carnell, Mark Singer, God bless you. Is that Bernie?
Hello.
Bernie, listen, we're actually streaming, yeah? We're actually streaming. We're live, but the show hasn't started, so I'm just doing some technical stuff. Look, let's do this on Facebook. We'll do this chat on Facebook. I'll give you a shout a bit later. But you're around for the next couple of hours or so, yeah?
Oh, of course I am.
Oh, God bless you, man. God bless you. Look, Dave Witch is popping in. He knows a bit about Mel Shaw as well. So I thought, look, I'm going to have a chat with him for a while, and then I'm going to call you and pull you into that if I can. Because
I wanted to get this going because I've got the headphones on and all sorts.
Oh, excellent. Well, look, try and get on Discord if you can. And that would be terrific because then it would be even better. But if you can't, not to worry, I'll give you a shout.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, the show is, what is it? Facebook.com/Daily Brexit. It's the top post there. Well, it will be in a minute. I need to pin it. All right.
Okay, buddy.
All right, mate. I'll catch you in a bit. God bless you. Ciao.
Yeah, not bad.
Cheers,
bye.
Bernie.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time that we can't fix it. It's irreversible, damn, it's done. The thrill is gone. Ooh, baby, there ain't no one like you. You chose to keep the truth inside. Gave my all to you. All you did was tell me lies. Something tells me that I won't miss it. It's the first time that we can't fix it. It's irreversible, damn, it's done. The thrill is
gone.
no turning yesterday. Don't you come running back now. I'm not a home for the shame.
Oh yeah.
Something tells me that I won't miss it. It's the first time that we can't fix it. It's irreversible damage done. The thrill is gone. Ooh, baby, there ain't no one like you. You chose to keep the truth inside. Ooh, baby, gave my all to you. All you did was tell me lies. Something tells me that I won't miss it. It's the first time that we can't fix it. It's irreversible damage done. The thrill is gone. I won't miss this love, no. It's irreversible damage done. The thrill is gone. Thrill is gone.
Yeah, probably going to be 5 past, people, actually. Ha do us a favour and share, all that. Do. There you go. Oh, how do I accept that? Oh, blimey. That's Witcher. Oh, hold on, I'll call him. There we go. I hate Skype. Witchy woo! I'll call back. We'll get there. Oh, British Rail, really? Coming up, folks. Oh, look at that. Tripped over my camera. Hold on. Does that work? I don't know. Hold it. There you go. That'll work. Regular chaos, as usual, yeah. I haven't been doing this too much recently, so you'll have to bear with me. A couple of minutes, people. There you go. This is what it should sound like in London today. Yes, this is chaos. There we go. Dave.
Hello, Ollie.
Oh, God bless you, man. Oh, excellent. Got your video. Oh, cool. I'll sort that out. I'll pull that in. Good man. Looking good in your high vis. Woo! Sexy. Da-da-da-da-da. Couple of minutes, people. Oh no, balls. Let's just start. Let's just start. Yeah. Hello, good people. Yeah, hey folks, hello. Welcome to the daily Brexit stroke chaos. Holding democracy to account, fighting for self-determination and exposing plutocracy. I'm Olly Connelly, thanks for turning up. And now, Yellow Jackets rolling coverage. Rolling coverage of events in London and Manchester from France and around and about EuroDisneyland! Dave Witcher joins me right here, right now. William Prentice TEu with a Melanie Shaw update in a little bit. And plus, who knows who might pop in. It's that kind of a gig. You, get on Discord. gov.ly/rant. You can call in on UK National Rate 0330. The numbers at the top of the spiel on the post, yeah. Or on Skype to Olly Connelly. Yeah. You can call me from Facebook if you like. You have to friend me there first. fb.me/OllyCon. And I'll see you in the comments. Right, okay, I need to do something. That's a very old intro, isn't it? Dave Witcher, roll call, sir. How are you? Can you hear me? Yeah. Which? Oh, I haven't got any audio on him now. I haven't got any audio with Dave. Oh. Dave, and you're upside down. You're lopsided on my screen. I'll sort that out. Oh, there you go. Yeah, turn your phone round. Beautiful. Lovely. You're looking good. but I can't hear you. There you go. Maybe I can now. Oh. No. No. Can't hear you, Dave. Dave, I'm going to call you back. I'm going to call you back, sir. Ah, yeah. Okay. All right. It's always good to have this kind of chaos, isn't it? I mean, it wouldn't be this kind of show if I didn't have chaos. So I'll call old Dave back. Yeah. Oh, that's him. That's him. Oh, I'm calling him. Yeah, one of the two. Right. Dave. Hello, mate.
Hello.
Hey.
How are we?
Oh man, I'll tell you, this is an exciting day. No, this is an exciting day. This is like the beginning of 2019 when we really, really are getting out there and sucking it to the establishment and reminding them who's the boss. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Definitely. I've just been out in my fields, Ollie, trying to find a drone. I see one come over,
this is
really,
like
but I
the
can't
beginning of
confirm it was there now.
Oh, hold on. What do you mean? Drones?
Yeah, there's loads of drones over here.
Oh, you haven't got an airport around the corner, have you?
Yeah, Gatwick's 35 miles away, but I'm going to call the police.
They didn't work that out, did they? They never knew. No. They didn't know. They had Gatwick held to, whatnot for 2 days? About 300,000 people were held up, and they never worked out who did it. It's useless, isn't it? I mean, it's actually not difficult to hold democracy to account, it seems to me.
Well, Ollie, seeing as you are a super duper DJ, I would love you, whilst we're doing this little interview, to find a little fun boy free song called The Lunatics Are Running the Asylum, and I'd love you to play it.
Well, we should sing it. We'll do a little. We'll do a bit of karaoke later on.
Karaoke.
Aye. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sort out my tabs here a little bit because I've got a load of tabs open with some streams. What's going on in Paris, particularly at the moment, actually. They're warming up in London. And if you folks have got links to the various streams that's going on, please pop them in the comments and I'll embed them so that we can watch them too. And in the meantime, I'll pull in old Dave's video as well so that we can have a look at his chivvy. And so just bear with me, people. This is a bit skew with. Dave, what are your thoughts? Whilst I sort out what I should have sorted out at least an hour ago, probably. What are your thoughts about where we are now with Brexit, with democracy, with retaking our country?
Well, I'd like to say, does anyone know? Is there actually anybody out there that actually knows what's going on? And that's the actions of the puppet masters. Out of confusion, anything goes, Ollie. And this is the problem. We've had Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, New Year's Eve celebration, the big firework display in London. He couldn't help himself but display the European flag on the big London Eye as all the fireworks were going off. To me, these people are psychopaths and they hijack everything. We are going to leave Europe. I hope it's not just in name only. I actually that troubles me immensely. Is that the people of this country, because of their lack of knowledge and understanding, will actually go, oh, well, the government said we've left the European Union, but actually, in the background, we know that the European Union will still have control of this country. And for me, as you know, we haven't spoken for a while, but I only see the EU as a massive dictatorship. And that's why, Ollie, 17 point so many million people of this country 2.5 years ago said, do you know what? We're not happy about this. We love trading with Germany. We love their BMWs. We love their salami sausages. We love the beer, the Hofmeister, the beer. Yep. But we don't like their politics.
No, that's right. Well, it's not really their politics, is it? I mean, the German people are being used. Just like the peoples all over Europe are being used, in fairness.
Yeah.
I think that they see it, and it's all kicking off. And then you've got like Merkel saying we've got to, basically get rid of sovereignty entirely. We now have to be, what is it she wants? She wants us basically all to be just completely getting rid of our borders and trying to bring in this new international order that George Herbert Walker Bush was talking about, 30 years ago?
Yeah, he did.
And now that he died, we know what he was like. He was a nasty piece of work. And they all, even The Guardian and all that lot, they reckon they're very liberal and all the rest of it. They're all saying what a wonderful bloke he was. He was a nasty piece of work. Kicked off all these Middle East wars, him and his son. And Obama with Libya and all the rest of it. What's happened in Syria. And it's just disgusting. They really, really have just been living a lie, huh? It's just been a complete lie.
Well, I just hope that wherever George Herbert Bush is, it's nice and warm. These people, as we know, Ollie, we can go through this time and time again. We know politicians don't work for us. We know they're only interested in their own ends and their own. They look at the people as though we're vermin. We're just a name, a number, and energy. And as I said in my video earlier, they are the ants. And we are the little bugs that grow on the plants and give them their sugary drinks, the aphids. And they will, oh, we're for you, we're for you. Well, no, you're not for us. You feed off of us. And that's got to stop, mate. That's got to stop worldwide. And we're seeing it. We're seeing France is taking up the baton. France, as you know, has been in the Euro for a long time. And Ireland, it's all kicking off around Roscommon. You're seeing a re-emergence of loads of old factions in Ireland, and they're all coming together, all their paramilitaries and stuff. They're coming out to protect people. Well, that part of Ireland has been heavily involved in the Euro for many years, and it's the Euro destruction. Thank God that we were just smart enough to stay out of going into that European currency, and kept the pound. I'm really grateful for that, and it bothered me at the time. I can remember them saying we're going to have. I'm like, no, that is just such a bad move, because that's total control. We see through that. We stayed with the pound, and this is why France, Belgium, Ireland are further ahead in the game than we are, because they've been kicked in the bit. I mean, I can remember going to France years ago, Ollie, over 10 years ago, playing golf. There must have been 20 of us. Mm-hmm. And the houses that were boarded up in Southern Ireland, and the people I was talking to at the time back then, they were saying it's the Euro. It's kicked us sideways. We can't pay our mortgages. So it's coming, man. It's coming. It's good. It's good times. Good times to be alive. And what I want to say to people, don't get depressed. Don't get upset. Don't think you're not worthwhile. Don't think whatever it is that you're doing isn't having an effect. It is. I want you all to stay in that high vibration, and whatever it is you're doing, it is working. Carry on.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Look, let's go through some news. I suppose I should turn off these sounds because I don't know what's going on with that. Let's get rid of that. Right. Okay. Let's have a look at some news. What's going on? First of all, the papers today. Biograph boy sees his father killed in random stabbing on train. So this is that 14-year-old kid was with his dad who was stabbed on that train yesterday. I mean, the violence is just absolutely out of control. This New Year, on New Year's Eve, Dave, stroke New Year's night, as we went into the new year, there were 2 terrorist atrocities in the UK. One, I think it was in Manchester. The other one, I think it was in London. Since then, we've had more stabbings. It is absolutely out of control. What does that tell us about Schengen?
Well, I mean, the Schengen Agreement is that is what it is. But out of all these atrocities that are going on, I don't think we're too far around the corner, Ollie, where the good people of this country decide, and rightly so, that they're going to actually protect themselves and their lives. Because remember, Ollie, our rights don't come from government. Our rights come from the Creator. That's a given. So we are now lambs to the slaughter. We've become victims of our own, whatever it is that we've created. we can either continue to go down that roller coaster ride and keep taking chances on our loved ones. What must that have been like to see your son at 14 get stabbed to death on a train?
Well, it was his son who saw his dad.
So cheap?
His son, the 14-year-old boy, was with his dad, and his dad was, and they were so shocked on the train apparently that when the perpetrator, the murderer, jumped off the train, nobody did anything. They waited till it went to the next stop before they basically stopped the train because people were so petrified they didn't know what to do. Let's go through what else is going on, and we'll come back to that story because there's quite a good write-up in Bildergraph today about it. I'll read that out, a bit of it anyway. Some of the story that's going on with our allies stateside, allies for Brexit, i.e. Mr. Trump, jobs are big. You can see this on your screen. If you're watching on YouTube, you might want to watch instead on Facebook because there's video there, and you can actually see my screen, and you'll be able to see the live feeds of what's going on in France and elsewhere, as well as and when I pull those up. But in the meantime, I'm showing the papers and what they're covering on Drudge. It's an incredible front page for Drudge today. They've got jobs up big, plus 312,000 jobs again. So another record smashed, record number working, manufacturing the best in 20 years. Hispanic unemployment lowest ever, according to that. And the Dow, which is continuing its roller coaster. I don't know how they keep spinning these plates, but that is, again, it's up. Now 747 points up. An incredible news day for Donald Trump the last 24 hours or so. This guy, it seems to me, he is going to get this wall. What's happening? Just to put this into perspective, if you've heard about there's this government shutdown in the United States, that's correct. The reason for that is because there's a spending bill that needs to be agreed with the Congress. And that spending bill, Trump has inserted the $5 billion cost of the wall. And he was elected, as we know, one of his key pledges was to build that wall. That's what the American people said that they wanted when they elected this guy. And yet the Congress is saying, oh, no. We don't like that. We think it's immoral, what have you. As though, for example, trade agreements aren't bigger walls. And they're saying that they don't like it, etc., etc. And so they reckon that they're basically holding the government, or rather holding the country to ransom, really. Although you could argue that not having any government is a good thing. And saying we're not going to sign this bill, and therefore all sorts of government services have ground to a halt. Again, this happens every now and then. It's something that we've seen before, but this time it's over the wall. And he has got a standoff with Congress saying, you know what, this is what the people want. And now, looking at these kind of headlines, the jobs, every month we're seeing that the jobs are going up because he has said enough of this ridiculous NAFTA, for example, the North American Free Trade Agreement, where it's just shedding jobs to South America from the United States. In other words, successive American presidents since Bill Clinton, who introduced NAFTA in, 1993, I think it was, have allowed their country to shed, to bleed jobs and industry, which is why, for example, finally people had enough. And Rust Belt, for example, said, we're voting for Trump. And we are now seeing this amazing standoff between the president and Congress. And I don't know, it seems to me, Dave, that the president is winning, looking at these headlines, that come 2020 elections, he will be re-elected. And his second term is maybe the term when he can do the kind of things that he was talking about in terms of dismantling the deep state. What do you think?
My views on Trump is that I adore him. I actually think that he he is shaking the world up. He's turning it upside down, got hold of it by its ankles, and he's shaking things up. I'll tell you a little story about Trump.
Go on.
We signed up to the Balfour Declaration in 1948. That was through the Rothschilds, etc. And Israel pretty much runs the world because apparently they're the chosen people. Now, a little while ago,
the Balfour Declaration, just so that people know, that basically was the creation of Israel. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
okay.
That was, yeah.
Carry on.
Well, what they did a little while ago was the Israelis and the Jewish people worship an old. I don't know if he was a god or he was a priest or he was, but it's a guy called Cyrus from many, many centuries ago. Well, they've just printed a half shekel coin in Jerusalem and Israel, and that has to contain 10% of silver to have any value because it's all their currency is all based on gold and silver back, which ours should be really. Mm-hmm. And on the back of this half shekel coin, guess whose face is on it? Donald Trump's. So that's why Trump will win and Trump will get his wall. He's a chosen one, and Trump will do nothing but good for this world. He can't be bought. Trump openly admits. He says the Illuminati. He says, who are they? He said, I've got more money than them. So yeah, the world's changing, Ollie, daily, weekly, monthly, hourly, and it's beautiful to see. We all know it's coming. And the sooner he gets on with it, the better. And Congress will collapse. They will capitulate. They will give in to what Trump wants. Trust me.
According to AP, US employers went on a surprising hiring spree in December. US employers went on a hiring spree in December, adding a surprising 312,000 jobs and providing a dose of reassurance about the economy after a turbulent few months on Wall Street. The job gains reported Friday by the Labour Department came despite a trade war with China, a global slowdown, and a partial government shutdown, now entering its third week. The way that their language is very interesting, They talk about surprising and things like this. Is it so surprising? I mean, he basically is balancing the trade arrangements that have been so skew with to rip off the American public to the advantage of this dictatorship that we have in China. A place that has concentration camps, for crying out loud, and we trade with them.
He's very clever. I can remember when the European Union kicked up a little while ago saying that they sort of weren't going to let go and we had to come up with this deal. And Trump just got out of his helicopter and was going into the White House, and he said, look, the Europeans have cut a deal with England and it seems to work very well for the Europeans. He said, and on that basis, he says, we can't trade. Our biggest ally for many, many years has been our big brothers and sisters across the pond, and we love them dearly, and we give thanks for what they do around the world. And he said, no. He said, we're not going to have any deals. And I could see in his face that he's spinning it. He's absolutely spinning it. Claude Juncker and all the other cronies in the European Union. I mean, Juncker can't even stand up. He gets so drunk. So much of the time, even on public display, they have to hold him up and pin him up. Even if he died, they'd probably make a cardboard cutout of him and just stick him up there because he talks a load of drivel. But, Ollie, I can see this European project failing, and it's failing fast. Italy's had enough. France has had enough. Belgium's had enough. I don't really know who else that leaves, really. And one thing before you cut back in, I would like to say with what's happened on the train and the father and the son and
hold that thought because I'm going to come specifically back to that story.
Okay.
But we've also got in whatfinger.com, they're pointing to a story on Breitbart. Donald Trump open to declaring a state of emergency to fund the border wall. So this really is a massive standoff between President and Congress here. According to Breitbart, President Donald Trump said he was willing to declare a state of emergency on Friday in order to build a wall on the southern border. Absolutely, we can call a national emergency, Trump said when asked about the idea by a reporter. I haven't done it. I may do it. The president spoke to reporters in the Rose Garden on Friday at the White House after meeting with congressional leaders for more than 2 hours to try to make a deal. Another meeting that presumably failed. The president is allowed by law to issue a declaration of emergency to quickly move federal funds to a specific area based on his discretion. The state of emergency declaration is frequently used ahead of a hurricane or other national disaster. And I suppose, Dave, when you consider that there were, 5,000 folks that were, I don't know, being paid by Soros or bussed in or what have you, up all the way from Venezuela into Mexico and through Mexico up to the US border. He called that an invasion, as I recall. And you could argue that the US is at a precipice here, that there is a state of emergency, no?
Well, yeah, there is. There is. I mean, there's a lot going on in the background. Trump's actually going head-to-head with the Federal Reserve and the Rothschilds. David Rothschild has come out, and Donald Trump put a tweet out not so long ago that he was going to switch up the Federal Reserve, and that the Federal Reserve was the problem in that country. And David Rothschild himself has come out in a scathing attack on Donald Trump, basically saying, wind your neck in, it's got nothing to do with you. But Trump will win. Trump will win. Trump will be voted back in again with a huge majority come second term. He knows it. He's not worried. He knows he's got, as they call it, the little people behind him. All their media outlets are trying to demonise Trump. He's too strong for these people, Ollie. He calls them out for what they are. And it sends massive reverberations around the world. Back in again.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Is that Bernie?
Yeah. That was just my tabs there. Look, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna move over from the news and we've got some stuff come in from James Goddard. God bless that guy who, of course, was the guy that accosted Anna Soubry on Westminster Bridge. And she had a bit of a go at him for that, and I think it flew up in her face a bit. Let's hear what James Goddard had to say about 10 minutes ago, and hopefully we've got some audio on this. See if I can get the audio.
I know James is a good man.
Why does that not want to play any audio for me? Here we go. Okay, I'll restart this. So this is James in London.
Let's have some fun, shall we?
Go on, James.
Can you see this, Witcher?
Whatever.
No, I can't.
You right? Oh, good.
I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Where's we? Right. Bit of chaos here.
It's the top post on...
What's going on in Manchester? Newport. As well, isn't it?
It's going down, man.
He's just
Massive
below the London
turnout,
Eye
hold on.
there.
There's
That's the South Embankment.
Loads.
Good man.
Can't say,
Absolutely brilliant. It's a brilliant turnout. Do you know what?
Oh. Oh dear. Sorry,
We've
people.
lost it.
Why is everyone? What they doing?
Well, let's talk about that, Ollie. If it's not going to play,
It is playing.
Okay.
It's
That's
ad
all
hoc. It's ad hoc. When he pipes up and starts saying something, well, I'll put up
Right,
his
just bring them
volume.
down. Just don't speak to them. Don't understand. Don't listen to them. Don't talk to them.
He did say it's been a brilliant turnout. He did say that. He's right under the London Eye.
bless him.
That's where Khan had his EU fireworks display the other night, wasn't it?
What a hypocrite.
Yeah, unbelievable.
He's got an agenda, hasn't he?
Yes.
It's a dentian.
Keep it together. Yeah, come on. We've gone.
Hang on, no.
She's all right. She's all right, Trace. Come on. You all right, mate? Yeah, good. Right, we're...
Come on, James. What's going on, mate?
Do you know what? Where is it? You right, bro? This is brilliant. Look at all these yellow vests. Everywhere.
Wow.
Everywhere.
Wow.
Terry! Danny,
Just go!
I've got an idea.
Just go!
Why don't we split it into 2 groups now? Half go that way.
Listen, right now.
Yeah, let's go. Come on.
We've got to take the bridge.
Come on.
Listen, in a minute.
Here comes a Sweeney.
Yeah.
Now, hold on a sec.
Let's go.
They're strategizing.
Let's go, Now,
Don't react to the police.
just ignore him.
React to the police.
Where's the
Yes,
megaphone?
exactly.
Hi. Where's got the megaphone? Let's create some. You alright, Sam?
So they're talking about
Right.
taking Westminster
Let's
Bridge. I wouldn't have put that on Facebook, but they already did.
Straight in the fucking road.
They're giving away their tactics.
Parliament, whole of Whitehall, everywhere.
What do we want? Brexit! When do we want it?
Fantastic. Brilliant.
I know that voice.
Brexit!
Look at that.
Brexit!
Brilliant.
James, our number one.
We started with 34, now look at it. Absolutely. 100.
If you can get there, people,
If anyone's
don't
in
watch
Manchester,
this.
I'll tell them
Go.
I'm alive.
That's right.
Oh, look at that. Let's go. Get this bridge. It's time for you to go.
James, how's it going?
You alright, mate?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, see, look. Brilliant turnout.
Indeed.
That's how we do it. LDN. And remember, if you're out, they should comply with the police. You don't understand what they're saying. There's Tracy. Brexit! Look at this. Let's keep coming. There's Brian.
Now!
Look at that. It's what we want.
Brexit, baby.
This is fucking brilliant, isn't it? Let's look at it.
Now, you're on Daily Brexit, sir.
I vote to leave, but Theresa May, she did deceive.
Get him on X Factor.
Oh, tell you she's been lying. Lied to your mother. Get out there, people.
Go on,
Right.
Jamesy.
Hello. Oh. There we go. There we are.
We're at war with the system, Ollie. The people are at war with the system.
We are.
Now.
Oh, here we go. What's he about to say?
They're out, but
Okay, well, they're basically organising themselves. So they're on the south bank, just off. You can see the houses of car. Oh, well, that was.
we've got police. We need to get on the bridges because the police are. I know, but the police are. Look,
Where?
they're already there.
We
Right,
need to
come
get
on,
on the
guys.
bridges.
Need to get on there. Manchester's kettled. That's no good.
Manchester is
I
kettled.
know, but Brian's.
So that's what I'm saying. We're at war with the system. We are at war with the system.
Come
Yeah,
on,
Dave.
come on, brother.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
mental
Get this
war,
right.
really. It's mental, but
It is mental, mate. It is.
see, you do this show, and holding democracy to account. Well, in my eyes, the only way you're ever going to do that is if you get the gates of Downing Street, top and bottom, firmly fixed open, and stand the men with machine guns down. That's it, job done.
Keep this bridge, and then when we're ready, we're walking. Westminster.
Does that make sense?
It does. We'll come back to that. I want to pick your brains more about
Go to the
that.
Parliament.
Just a
Where
sec.
is everyone? Ah. Oh, you're joining us, constables!
Hey.
It's a good
We're on
spirit.
Westminster now.
They're on Westminster Bridge.
Yeah. Just walk over the road. Just walk the road. It's a Tracy.
Go on, James.
So. Yeah, that's what I was going to do, but we need to be at the front.
The bridge things for me is a bit of an issue, Ollie, because I don't want anyone to get
In the
hurt.
road, come on! Even the police are joining us by wearing their yellow vests. Come on, boys.
Come on, James.
Come and join us!
Brexit now!
Brexit now! Brexit now! Brexit now! Brexit now! Brexit now! Brexit now! Brexit now!
John. All right, Harry.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Mr. Spurs. Right, we've got everyone. Oh, Lord. So then we just keep calling.
Brexit!
Brilliant. We walking. Yellow vests are everywhere.
Brexit!
When do we want it?
Where's the
What do we want?
Brexit!
It works, doesn't it?
Brexit!
Keep keeping these.
How many there,
Yeah.
Ollie?
Slow
What can you
walk.
see?
Slow walk, spread out.
Where's that mega?
It's hard to say. It's very hard to say. He said that they started when they met earlier. Oh, here we go. He said that they started with 35 when they met up this morning, but it looks to me as though they've got a crowd of at least 100 or a couple of hundred with people joining up, people joining in.
Brilliant.
Now. Theresa May is a traitor, a scat.
Yeah, Brexit hard! Brexit now! Trees!
May is a traitor, a scat. Brexit hard. Brexit now.
Where's that megaphone? Where's Sharon?
But he's got a point, hasn't he? Because
Yeah, sure.
the way to bring London to a standstill is by taking the bridges.
Yellow vests everywhere.
I'll get that. I think there's too much energy involved in that, Ollie. I think it's good for a starter. It's good for as an appetizer that can lead and build into things. I clearly see it like this. We've now got people in this country presuming to own it and run it
We still got more.
that have got big steel gates with men with machine guns. Well, that's the arrogance of the system. If you took that away, if you peacefully stood them men down, opened them gates up, welded them, cut them down, and you made it a thoroughfare again like it was when I was a child, and I know I'm not that old, I'm quite good looking, but then your people that run your country will be going, oh,
Just a sec, Dave. Just a sec.
You can stick your flag with stars on. Stick your flag with stars on.
Okay, all right. They're having a shout. They're having a good old shout.
Yeah.
Carry on. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so if this is the scenario as I see it. If you could get a couple of 100,000, 50,000 people all come together with the yellow vests on, go to Parliament and say to the men there with their machine guns, who all look really nasty and terrifying, but in reality they're not going to pull a trigger on their own kind. They don't get paid enough for a start. In any case, that's not what they signed up for. They signed up to protect life, liberty and property.
Yeah.
So you stand them down, you get the gates firmly open, you don't have to use any violence. The bottom gates, the top gates of Downing Street, you get them firmly fixed open, you take them down and you say, right, now listen, you don't put them up again, because if you do, we're going to come back with 200,000 That's the end of it. And that means then that you can go back up and knock on number 10 like I did when I was a kid. I could, at the age of 11, 12, 13, go to London with my family, walk down Downing Street and knock on the door. Now, there was not this militarised zone. That Downing Street is a militarised zone. You've now got a situation where your politicians are hiding behind men with machine guns. That's to me, as I see it, that's 1936 Germany.
Yeah.
And apparently they've shot dead someone in their home this morning in Coventry on a warrant. They've gone into someone's house in Coventry and they've shot dead someone. Now, I strenuously disagree with that, because that means then that the police have become the judge, the jury, and the executioner.
Do we know that was breaking news on the BBC at about 4 o'clock this morning, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
What are there any updates on what that was about?
Not that I've heard of, no. But to me, that's it's dangerous. I understand the man might have been dangerous, a menace, but to actually shoot him dead in his own home, that's judge, jury, and executioner. That's an abuse of power. That should never be tolerated in this great country, mate. And that's scary. That scares. Things like when I hear them, I go, we can't tolerate that.
One sec. Let's have another listen.
No! Brexit! No!
Because they kind of started that in a way with it was George W. Bush, wasn't it, that talked about preemptive attacks, which broke the mold on justice. Yeah. And then, for example, with Osama bin Laden, who, as Tim Osman, was a CIA asset. They were the guys that trained him to be a leader of the Mujahideen, to fight their war against the Russians in Afghanistan about, 40 years ago now.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And then they go and kill him in that compound instead of taking him and putting him on that helicopter and take him away with the special forces to put him on trial, because they didn't want him in court talking about the truth about 9/11. No, they didn't want that.
Well, Osama bin Laden, no one ever see the body. He was buried at sea. It's an oxymoron. It's an
stinks,
oxymoron.
I
Absolutely
don't think it
stinks. Ever took place or ever happened. But there you go. That's my deceptive brain at work. Actually, quite funny. One of my friends who's ex-police, he said to me, I'd have made a great detective. But I said, I can't come over to the dark side. But yeah, getting back to this thing in Coventry. Look, this guy at 4 o'clock this morning, the police would have had their meeting in the office. They'd have come up with how they were going to plan their attack, go into the house, have the house covered front and back, this, that, the other. And they would have gone en masse, Ollie. They wouldn't have just sent a WPC and a PC round there. They would have gone en masse with people that had proper body protection on, completely suited up. So are you telling me that 10 or 15 people like that couldn't have gone in and restrained that individual without killing him? They're slowly but surely bringing this execution-style justice into the normality and the consciousness via the media of the people of this country. And if we idly sit back and allow that to manifest, we are in deep trouble.
I've got an update. Thanks, Ken. Ken Lansley has given us an update on the Coventry shooting. This is according to News One Direct. Coventry shooting, man shot dead during West Midlands Police intelligence-led operation, UK News. The force said a warrant was executed as part of an intelligence-led operation in Burnaby Road at roughly 6:20 p.m. yesterday afternoon then. A statement said one man was shot and pronounced dead at the scene, while 2 other men were detained by officers. The area around the scene remains cordoned off, and the incident has been referred to the Independent Office for Police Conduct. Reports of the shooting surfaced at approximately 7 p.m. on Friday evening. The road has been temporarily closed off, as well as a number of armed officers, marked and unmarked police cars. The ambulance service were also in attendance, according to Coventry Live. Residents were repeatedly told to remain indoors. A large number of police cars along with emergency service vehicles were reported in the area of Burnaby Road, a largely residential street north of the city centre in the wake of the incident. One Twitter user said, "My brother lives on Burnaby Road and a policeman told him to get inside as someone has been shot." Not letting anyone on Burnaby Road over 17 police cars, armed police on street. The area around the scene remained cordoned off on Saturday morning, this morning. It actually, I mean, we don't know what the deal was with this guy, whether he was making bomb material, whether he was somebody on our side who was just a patriot who'd said a bit too much or knew a bit too much. We just don't know.
No, we don't know.
He's dropped his phone, Dave.
I've dropped his phone. Yeah. Did you see that? That was 9/11. That was the Twin Towers free falling. Ollie, I think it's dangerous. There is, you know, if he's part of a cell or a terrorist organisation, so be it. He should face justice. He should face the people. He should face the consequences that way. Yeah. The police, I keep reiterating this, the police are not and never should ever be allowed to be judge, jury and executioner, ever. And with their capabilities, their intelligence, a friend of mine's ex-SO19, he said to me one day, "Try these headphones on, David." And I put these headphones on, and I could have heard a pin drop in a bedroom upstairs. They were super amplified, and it was unbelievable. I went, "Wow!" He said, "Yeah, they're good, aren't they?" These people have got so much high tech stuff. They're like kids in Toys R Us. They've got more than they can cope with. So don't tell me that them police could not have made that containable without killing this individual. They are, and it would have been better to keep him alive, to extract the information out of him rather than kill him if he's connected to other people that are carrying out the same things. Yeah. They won't never know that now because they've killed him dead. If the guy had pointed a firearm at him, that's a different story. They have the right to protect their own life. That may have happened. We're quite quick to demonise the police, but I just know that this ethos that runs through them now is that they have the right and the will to execute us when needs be. We had a guy in Kent about a year and a half ago. It was a traveller, and he got cornered down near Cranbrook, and they shot him dead. And it echoes through me. I'm just thinking, you should never have that power, people. You should. That's not right.
Sam Phipps in the comments has said that's Gestapo tactics.
There you go.
Let's take a few comments from the folks. Hey, everybody. Yeah. Paul, great Kevin, idea. Aaron. Hey, Greer. Popped in. Good to see you guys. William Prentice is on the comments as well. He's going to be popping in a bit later to talk about Melanie Shaw with a bit of an update. He's been following her case very, very closely, and I think that she's due. Is that Coventry court that she's due in? I think it might actually be Coventry as well. I don't know if there's a bit of...
she's from up that way. I can remember liaising with Melanie Shaw quite a few years ago, and I can actually remember the day that I think it was Brian Garish was with her and someone else, when the police come round and kicked the door in and arrested her and took her away. For them to do that to that woman in the severity that they did it, she was just about to blow a lid on whatever it is that these people are up to, and they have silenced her by keeping her in prison. And she's a catalyst, Ollie, as much as Robert Green, the solicitor with Holly Greig, was a catalyst as well. They don't want the truth, and when they know that there's people out there that have the armament and the knowledge to really stick a stake in the establishment's heart, they will silence you by whatever means they want. Because don't forget, they're the ants and we're the aphids.
Okay, we'll take a few more comments coming in. Jason Wills, take the gates off quick. I think he's referring to the gates at Downing Street.
That's right. Yeah.
Ken Lansley,
do you want to talk about that then? Do you want to look at that
yes, please. Yes. Well, so because you actually think that this is possible this year, but Surely
Yeah.
it is not possible without us getting the police to do their duty and to stand by the people, to serve and protect, as it were, no?
The thing is, let's briefly, before we answer, let's look at the police as a whole. The police, when they were formed by Peel, it was to serve and protect. That was the only reason they were there. Well, now we know the police has become a business. They're only interested in fining, enforcing them fines, putting their hands in your pockets against your will. I think that's a massive disgrace, and it's the only public sector that we've allowed to do that. We've not allowed the NHS to do that. We've certainly not allowed the fire brigade to do that. As a whole, I think the fire brigade are the heroes of this country, and I think that the NHS workers and the paramedics and the ambulance crews are absolute heroes of this country. The police, unfortunately, are not. So they're in bed with this political ideology that the system currently runs at. They are paid their wages, they've got to pay mortgages, their bills, etc., just like everyone else does. Everyone's trapped in this system, and the police have become a victim of their own, whatever it is that they've become. I think ultimately, if the masses of the people decided to get off their backsides and actually to take part in something that was very, very worthwhile in the future of their country and the future for their families to come, and actively took part in highlighting and exposing what these people have been doing, I think then, yes, you would get the police going, hang on a minute, these people are waking up. They know what we've been up to. We've got no choice but to align ourselves. That's a possibility. I think that ultimately could and will happen at some point, and they will turn on their masters. I do believe they will do. But that will only come down to the people making that happen. If 200,000 yellow vests descended on Downing Street and as quiet as a cucumber, stood side by side, shoulder to shoulder, and a few people up front said, look, listen, guys, you're not going to pull them triggers. Just open the gates. We're coming in regardless. Them policemen, they don't get paid no more than any other serving officer. With them guys with machine. I know one of my best pals was SO19. He's out of the police force now, and he would never rejoin it. He said it's a den of vipers, Dave. And I said, well, we can see that. Them men would stand down. We then get the top and bottom gates of Downing Street firmly open. You have struck at the heart of the beast in one foul swoop. People will not have to continue to go and campaign and stand on bridges and do all this other stuff. You would have struck at the heart of the beast in such a way that they would go, oh, okay, we got this. They would have no choice but to fall back into alignment, Ollie. And I can see a day when that happens. I truly can. I think France will be first. I think the French will be the first.
This is Paris now. I've just pulled Paris onto the screen.
Yeah.
So that's what you can see there. Carry on, Dave. Carry on.
Yeah, so I think we need to place our energy. We need to have direction. We need to have a goal, an end goal. I've always lived my life with an end goal. I want to, if ever I put my energy into something, I want to see something at the end of it. I don't want people walking around aimlessly and not having no direction. And that's the way my brain works. What we're doing is fantastic. What people are now seeing this on the main, they're going to be seeing it on the mainstream. They're going to be going, what's going on with this yellow vest? The movement will get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the beauty of this yellow vest thing is, it doesn't matter what colour you are, what you agree with, whether you're a gay, lesbian, whatever it is, whatever your political view is. If you just have the gumption and the honesty to put one of these on and stand side by side with your fellow brothers and sisters for what this represents. Yeah. It's so simple, and it's very simplistic in what it stands for, but it has the potential. It absolutely has the potential to be the arrow that fires from the bow and goes straight into the heart of the beast. I encourage it. I think, and I'd like to say, in France, a lot of these yellow vests are elderly people, husbands, wives, all come together. And the way that the yellow vests in France have been treated by the police is just unbelievable, considering that France was occupied by tyranny not so many years ago. You would think that the French would still remember that, being 650 of them locked up in a church, machine gunned and set fire. They've kept that village for posterity. They've not ever built or done anything with Orleans Lagrange, whatever it is. I can't even say the word. But that village has been kept as a reminder, which you can go and visit, to everybody in the world to say, this is what happens when tyrants take over. So the French, remembering that distant echoes of their history that's not too far away, have gone, we see what's going on. We cannot go through this a second time. And I'm really pleased. I'm so proud of the French people for what they're doing, for what they're saying. Politicians don't have a divine right to rule, Ollie. They really don't. And when the people decide, you know what, we've had enough, we're going to take it back. And they will, promise you, Ollie, that will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they will take back their country. I promise you, as God is my witness, they will.
Oh, I'm trying to pull in both France and London on the same screen so that we can see them side by side and how they develop over the course of the next few hours. If you can get to London, go. Don't watch this, go. The only reason I'm doing this is because I can't be there, and I know a lot of other folks can't be there. And so, you know, we just want to show our support as best we can. And please, hey, share this as well, yeah? But if you can get to London, go, because the best way we can protest is on the ground, absolutely. And by showing our support. And looking at the crowds in Paris is particularly exciting. Look at that. Look at these crowds. It's absolutely fantastic. These are pictures from Rutley, and it's just terrific. Really, really good to see. What is this now? The 8th week, is it not? Despite the mainstream media, the fake stream media, having told us that this whole thing was, you know, blowing out, that it was, you know, basically it was diminishing. It doesn't seem it to me. It doesn't seem it at all to me. It looks to me as though the French have really got a bee in their bonnet that they're not going to let go. And Macron, he's got a major problem. He lost his spin doctor the other day, Dave. That's a good sign, is it not? It's the equivalent of Ali Campbell having to quit.
Well, I've been hearing that he's been hiding out. Apparently, he's been out having a little bit of a break, and the people have gone looking for him to try and, I don't know, have a chat with him, drag him out in the street. I think that's a possibility. I think Macron, if he ain't careful, will be dragged out by zeros. They tried to raid the Supreme Court as well in Strasbourg or wherever it was, the European courts. The yellow vests have been out. Ollie, this is growing. There's no denying the fact that this yellow vest thing is growing, and it's part of something beautiful as well. We've got to go through these birth pains. We have to do it. We've got no choice. I grew up in freedom, really and truthfully. I grew up feeling completely free as a kid. That might have been naive, I'm not too sure, but I grew up, and them memories to me are so fond. And I've had interactions with the police in the past. It's always been quite amicable because of the way I interact with them, but we've gone past that, Ollie, and I can't stand by. We cannot stand by at this point in time and allow this great country to fall. We can't. We simply can't allow that. James Goddard is there today. Yeah. Tracy Blackwell is going to be there as well. Tracy,
tell us a bit about just one sec, Dave. I want to ask you about Tracy for those that don't know who she is. Let me just get rid of this off my screen because that is there we go. So we're on Westminster Bridge now, and we've got good numbers on Westminster Bridge, but it looks as though there's some, I don't know whether that's tear gas or what, but there seems to be a bit of smoke around there. It's a bit, the stream is not great quality, it has to be said, but it does seem to be I don't know, a bit of tension maybe between our yellow vest protesters and the police there now. Look, we got to stay calm, folks, on the ground. We got to stay calm. We got to be peaceful. We got to be peaceful. Okay, Dave, tell us what is the deal with Tracy Blackwell? She has been on this show. You can see that in the video archives. She's an amazing woman. Can you please sum up her story for us, please?
Right. So I've met Tracy briefly a couple of times. I think she knows who I am. Tracy was just normal. She was just trapped in the matrix, going about her daily stuff until her son got killed. He was going into town with a couple of his friends for a night out. He was an apprentice bricklayer, only a very, very young man. And the three of them were walking into town, looking smart, nice bit of aftershave on, going in, you know what you like when you're 18, 19 years old.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they never made it into town because some idiot in a van decided to mount the pavement and run them all down in an unprovoked attack, and killed all three. Harry, Josh and George killed them outright. So Tracy suffered the loss of her loved one, her son. He'd come from her loins, and she was thrusted into this. Now, I know that she would be placing all of her energy into this to deal with the grief of losing her son, and she knows full well that the system doesn't care. She knows full well that she's never going to see justice.
Was it not the case? There was these Asian kids that ran over her and killed her son and two of his friends, and then
Harry,
the police did nothing. But basically, they withheld evidence. They didn't properly investigate it, and her claim is that political correctness protected these Asian kids from Pakistani. I don't know where from, but basically not British nationals. And her argument is that these murderers, it was deliberate. It wasn't that they were just drunk. It's that they rammed their car into them as fast as they could, and it was a deliberate attack. Is that not her contention?
Yes, mate. Yeah. I mean, these three boys are dead. They're never coming back, and now Tracy is under a life sentence. I'm a father. I've got two kids. I love them immensely. I can't imagine how I would feel if ever they got. I brought them into the world to enjoy life and to have a good free life, to do what they want to do, to have life, go and see things, go on holidays, do this, do that, and just enjoy life. And if anything ever happened to any of them, it would ruin you. And but Tracy's now placed all her energy and faith, and my God, what a woman! My God, what a woman she is! And she's never going to get closure. She's never going to get justice. She knows this. Yeah. So she's doing what she can as a bereaved mother to honour her son and his friends, and that's basically the nuts and bolts of what Tracy Blackwell stands for.
Absolutely.
It's very sad, Ollie. Very sad.
She spoke on the 23rd of June, what was mooted as Independence Day, a rally in London. And I met some of you folks there. It was awesome. It was wonderful. But there weren't enough of us there. But then again, most people, they have thought, they voted. They did march. They marched to the ballot station and they voted leave the European Union with 1 million+ majority saying that. And people didn't think that they needed to. Presumably, they thought they didn't need to go to the rally on the 23rd of June, for example, that Tracy Blackwell spoke so eloquently at, with her family on the stage, sharing a platform with Gerard Batten and other people. But is that not half the problem? We do have a complacency issue, do we not?
Absolutely. It's I don't know about complacency, Ollie. It's a system that lacks in caring and wanting to protect through its sheer arrogance of we're now your master. That's the fundamental problem. Tracy's case isn't isolated. This goes on all the time. We had so many people killed in the metropolis last year. I spoke to a chief commissioner for London, and he said, if you travel to the metropolis, and I said to him, excuse me, what do you mean the metropolis? Am I in Batman? Are you working in fictions? I said, it's London. Oh no, it's the metropolis. I'm like, these people, Ollie, we have psychopaths running this country. Absolute lunatics without a caring bone in their body. They're only interested in their ends It's disgusting. It's got to stop. I hate that mentality. They've turned their back on us, Ollie. We are at war with the state. The people have been declared combatants, and this is why they do such bad things to us, because they now look at us with these discerning eyes of, we're your boss. We own you. It's ownership, mate. We're all on this plantation, and we've got to wake up.
Okay, let's have a look at a few more comments, and then I'll try and... the Rupley feed is interrupted. Maybe the guy's camera phone ran out or whatever, and they're probably trying to get another link. And if you've got any links, I see that Ken's put one in, actually. I'm going to copy that and see if I can open that link up. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Let's see what's going on with this. Sam Phipps says psychopaths run the world. I mean, it's the God's honest truth, isn't it? They do. Now that's not me, people. That is the mobile phone that is turned on its side there. So yeah, just take your laptop and skirt round, then you can see that. Yellow vests, says Mary Evans. Yeah, and Sam
Vive la
Phipps.
France.
Sam Phipps says a system without compassion. These pictures, by the way, that we're looking at here, this is Richard Rowley, who's on the ground in London. That is London. So anyway, hold on a sec. Let me see if I can improve what you can see here a little bit, just to try and do my job.
Oh, sorry, my dogs are barking. I think my missus just come home with the horse. Let me turn my speaker off.
All right, okay, that's slightly better. I'm sorry, it's yeah, a bit. There you go. Okay, no problem. Crick necks are us. Fine. Sam Phipps also says a system without compassion, which absolutely, yeah. Ken Lansley says, yeah, sorry, link is on its side. That's all right. Fair enough. Aye. John Levitt, FLE, yellow vests at home. I don't know what FLE stands for. Hey, Simon Lord. Hey, Helen Lasky-Smith. Hey, Chris Mitchell. Hey, Mary Evans. And hey, Gab Foster. And hey, Sylvia Gibbs Philcox. Lovely to see you all about. Rachel Broad, Euronews, Channel 508 is covering French demo spasmodically. And so is Rupley. And I'm not surprised. I kind of wonder if they might start turning off the mobile. I'm trying to look at this picture myself in London. I wonder if when they're going to start turning off the mobile signals. I don't know. Anyway, Stavros. Yep, Gilet Jaunes 9. It's never stopped every week. It's week 9, according to Stav.
Week
and
9.
Weekdays throughout France, all over. It's just incredible, isn't it? It's incredible. If anybody wants to call in, have a chat on Discord, please do. Or you can call me on Facebook as well. On all the details on how to call in to have a chat with Dave, with me, are at the top of the post. Yeah, at the top of the post. All the details are there in the intro, in the spiel. So there you go. Sam Phipps, presumably talking about what's going on in France, says that'll be the UK soon. Now hold on a sec. What's going on there?
You know.
Hold on.
It's exciting times to be alive, Ollie. I'm absolutely so excited to be at this precipice, to be at this time. I am so blessed to be here. Trust me. I don't get depressed with it all. I just think this is so exciting. It's in our hands. It's in, and it always has been in our hands. We can do this, and we are going to do it. Trust me, we are going to do it.
This is spreading throughout Europe. It's not just the UK. We know that it's happening in Portugal. It's happening in Bulgaria. They've been protesting on the steps of the European Parliament in Strasbourg.
Yeah.
In Austria, we know that it's really kicked off there. The Prime Minister has said we do not want the UN Migration Pact. And is even breathing about a referendum on the EU now. There was a story this week. It's just absolutely incredible. It's incredible. Jason Wills, amen to that, Dave. Something you said, sir. Jenny Hurst, hi, Ollie, watching and listening to Common Sense and Truth. God bless you, Jenny. You're listening to absolute abject chaos, but we'll do what we can. Ken Lansley, yes, we need to turn the police, get them to see sense. It must be very, very difficult. I mean, how many of these police? I've had cops on this show, some awesome geezers, ex-cops like Michael O, who's quite well known in this community, I think.
I know
and
Michael very
John
well.
Wedger as well.
John Wedger, yeah, I know
awesome
John.
people. But now these are old school cops. How many of their ilk that still remember the oath that they took?
Absolutely.
Abide by that today. It seems to me that they are so versed now in common purpose and so politically corrected. They have been corrupted, and that our police, can we expect them to stand with us, Dave?
Only through persuasion, I think that will happen. This country's imploding on itself. We've got so many things going on. The homeless crisis, the NHS is having a downfall. On the radio this morning, whilst I was painting my ceiling in my dining room, they're giving £25 million to Iraq to rebuild a little place out there. And whilst I'm sympathetic to all that what goes on in these countries, for me, we should never be there in the first place.
No.
I have to think to myself, why? Why, oh why, when we've got so much of what is going on in this country? Food banks, homelessness, bailiffs, people getting kicked out of their houses, having their kids ripped out of their arms. Why are we giving? And that to me is a country that's attacking itself from the inside. We can't tolerate this nonsense no more, Ollie. It's time to wake up, it's time to grow a pair, and it's time to get on with it. Truthfully, it is.
Kenneth Noel Gabriel Curran, I'm still watching for answers to questions posed regarding the abuse of my children and the cover-up, Deccan up, son found hanged Tuesday the 6th of June 1995 in York. Put the spotlight on Donut City, York, and North Yorkshire Council's social services, children's services, education services, Justice with Truth, Justice for Children. Kenneth, you should come on the show. We should maybe do a show about this. Daily Brexit's back from Monday, by the way. This is a special today, but Daily Brexit is actually back Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. UK time, GMT, as of Monday. And we've got, 80 days, 82 days, something like that, is it, until we're supposed to be leaving the EU, Dave? What is your analysis as to what is going to happen between now and then, politically?
I don't know. I guess what will be will be. I know that Brexit is going to just happen in name only. There's not going to be no severance from the European Union. Oh, they've made that quite clear.
He dropped the phone again.
So it's... I dropped the phone again. My missus just... I get something from my missus. But yeah, we'll see. There will be no repealing of the 1972 ECA. I think this PESCO thing and the European Army will continue in full force. And I think we will all end up being victims of our own ignorance. But we will see. I could be wrong. But for us to be actually leaving the European Union in a couple of months' time, we will have to see the ECA of 1972 ripped off the statute books, taken off completely. That would then be a massive disconnect from the European Union. But that, I'm pretty sure, won't happen. It will be name only.
Okay, let's have a look and see some of the stuff going on Twitter. I'm following all the usual suspects on there. As some of you will have seen from my timeline, I'm trolling them mercilessly, basically to try and put our case. And therefore, I'm following these bastards, frankly. And so let's have a look and see what some of them are saying today. We got that's Subri, Anna Subri. Oh, you hold on a sec. Let me just see if I can pull this in so that you can see the full. I know you don't want to hear from this woman, but we need to know what the enemy is saying. So anyway, gives me no pleasure thoroughly to agree with the Times editorial, says Anna Soubry, who of course gained a trace majority when she retook her seat at the last general election. I think 850 votes or something she won by a reduced majority from some 8,500 I think was her majority previously. So her constituents clearly were waking up. Many were keen to kick her out, but they voted presumably Conservative on the basis that the Conservative Party in their manifesto, as did the Labour Party, said that they would honour the result of the referendum. I'm losing my voice already and got about 4 or 5 hours to go. And her constituents, it's worth noting, they voted. That constituency, Broxtowe, voted to leave by a landslide, in electoral terms, by a landslide. They voted to leave the bloody EU. And yet she, as we know, is one of the main remorons in Parliament. Anyway, she says, it gives me no pleasure thoroughly to agree with the Times editorial. We are in a serious political crisis. Those named should be sorting out Brexit crisis, not pursuing their selfish ambitions, as though she's not being selfish and betraying democracy and her own constituents. As Roger Arthur, God bless him, letter writer in chief to the Telegraph in our community, awesome letters. I put 1 or 2 of his letters up on my timeline earlier today. He, as he correctly states and taught me, 408 of the 650 constituencies, we have 650 MPs in Parliament, of those constituencies, 408 of them voted to leave the EU, voted to leave the European Union. 408, that's 62.8%. 62.8%. Where is the representation? Anna Soubry, if there's a crisis, it is of your making, because you're refusing to represent your constituents. Oh, you stupid mad crone. Right, and Ken Clarke on LBC earlier was calling for, and this is basically coming back to what's going to be the political landscape over the next 82 days or whatever it is, and I think this just sums it up. Ken Clarke calls for Article 50 to be revoked to give the UK more time to negotiate Brexit, adding there is no majority for anything in government. Well, there was a majority, actually, Ken Clarke. In parliamentary democracy terms, there was, by a landslide again. MPs voted in the EU Referendum Act to give the choice to the people. And the people overwhelmingly, stats above that I've cited, said we want out. So there is the majority. We had the majority in Parliament and we had the majority in the country. But of course, he's a Bilderberger, isn't he, Dave? He's a Bilderberger.
He's a Bilderberger.
He's an arch Bilderberger. He was on the steering committee for years. He's one of the chieftains. A very nasty piece of work, frankly.
He's far worse than that, actually. If you go and research the Ben Fellows allegations against Ken Clarke and Ben Fellows, the ex-TV presenter, had to go into hiding. A lot of it will become apparent. Ollie, I've got about 10 minutes left.
All right, mate.
Good, gorgeous self. I've got to go to a little family do today, a little soiree.
Oh, good on you, man. Good on you.
I don't know what you want to cram in the last 10 minutes.
Well, okay. You. What's your vision? I mean, you're a man of peace and also action as well. But how do we square this? Let me put this question to you, because I know you're a man of God, basically. I know you're not a violent guy. what do we have to do? Where are they going to listen to us, or are they basically going to continue to give us lip service? Is it going to get nasty? Are we looking at martial law? If we do see that they do not listen, that there is going to be us being shackled to the EU, what do we have to do? Do we have to do what Nigel Farage said and don khaki?
That's a tough one. That's a real tough one to answer, because
You've got 10
I guess
minutes.
time will play out, and what will happen. This comes down to the people. I always say to people, starve the beast, starve it, and we've been seeing, 10 years ago, I said, the BBC are involved in child paedophilia.
Yep.
I can't sponsor that. Well, we now have 3 million households in this country that turn their back on the BBC and don't pay that nasty satanic BBC TV license, which is gorgeous. But that just tells me that when you plant seeds, they turn into oak trees. And as long as we continue on this thing, we have to keep starving these people. Ultimately, I think this will come down to us, the people of this country, making sure that the gates of Downing Street are firmly fixed open, bottom end and top end, and stand there men with machine guns down, because it's all theatre. Shakespeare said the world's a stage. We just have to be brave, Ollie. We have to be brave, and we have to be courageous. We have to start acting like children and start acting like real men and women. And when we do that, and we realise that we are all one and we should all come together, and we need to do this. If we can do that, if we can achieve that, if we can stop all the infighting, when I see infighting, I just think, how pathetic. Why would you do that? We need to unite, Ollie, and that's what this is doing. This is not doing any talking. This is a stationary piece of equipment until we decide to don it and put it on. It's growing. France, I say, will be the first one to go. These news outlets, the BBC, how are they going to report this is not doing any talking? When the people take their country back? They're going to have to tell the truth, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
So, mate, yeah, it's a funny one, but it's a time that we chose to be here for. It's a time that we chose. You chose to do this radio station. I chose to do what I do. When push comes to shove, you're going to see great things happen, and it's happening all the time, Ollie. There was a couple of 3,000 people trying to take down the streets again, the gates of Downing Street down about 3 months ago. People were climbing the streets, and the actual police pointed their rifles at them, which is uber dangerous. But once we take the gates of Downing Street down, the arrogance will then go. The public servants have to come back and work for the people. That's the only way this is ever going to happen. But that's going to take a lot of people to all come together and to unite, to come together and say to their public servants, you're not serving us, you're dictating to us, you're now our masters. We ain't tolerating that. We're taking back the kingdom. Guys, live kingdom every day. I don't hate these people. I just want them to come home. I send them love. I'm saying, listen, remember who you are, who you're supposed to serve, who you're supposed to protect. Do that, and good times are coming for you. I have great value in something like the police force, but I would pay them double what they're getting. I would give them 50 grand a year. I'd say, but you're not handling money. You're not going to start hurting and harming the people that provide for you. They sponge off of us, Ollie. It's disgraceful. It's got to stop. And it will stop. I'm pretty confident of that, mate. In the next few months, we're going to see amazing things happen. And the majority of people that are sat at home that watch the BBC, that go to work, sit there and watch it with their dinner, they're going to go, oh my God. It's the quickening's coming, mate. The quickening is coming. It's gorgeous. I'm enjoying it. I'm not depressed. I'm vibrating on a very high frequency, because if you let what it is you're trying to do get to you, get you down and make you thinking bad things, it's winning. It's beating you. Yeah. Don't let it beat you. Rise above it.
I agree with you.
What they've got against them and shine it on them, and we can win.
I agree.
We are going to win. We're going to win.
God bless you, man. I'll tell you. And also, we need humour too. We need humour, because they don't understand it. These psychopaths, they don't have any empathy. They don't understand humour, and it's a great way to help defeat the system. It seems to me. Plus, it's the old blitz spirit, Dave,
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. Look, you wanted to, and I didn't get to that story in the end, did I? But about the terrible knifing on that train. But you wanted to make a bit of a comment about that. What did you want to say?
Well, it's becoming normal psyche. The minute that we let that happen once and twice, and we accept it as normal, we are victims of our own surroundings. We have to. Where's the deterrence? What happens to the individuals that have done that? Are they losing their lives? Are they? Is justice really happening? We can't accept this as normal. We can't accept that all this carnage is being blown up at concerts. How have we become to just accept it and tolerate it, and the next day forget about it and move on? It's not normal. It's not safe. This is what I'm saying, Ollie. The police, they could look like RoboCop or Tackleberry. They could have so many weapons on them that if they fell in the Thames, they're going to go straight on. Where are they when these atrocities are happening? They can never have the capabilities of knowing when these things are going to happen. I could walk out my house today, walk up to my little village, and someone could plunge a knife in me. The copper cannot preempt that. I think it's now time for us to be truthful and to be honest, and us as decent, upright, standing people protecting ourselves and our own lives. Because as I said before, our rights do not come from Theresa May. They do not come from a government. Our rights come from the fact that we live on this earth, that we live and breathe in this planet, and we are worthy. Our rights come from the Creator, and we absolutely have the God-given right to protect our own lives. We need to take that mantle back from these public servants who have failed in their everyday duty to serve and protect. I love you. I'll see you soon.
God bless you, man. God bless you. Thank you. Thanks, Dave Witcher. Oh, I'm going to take a bit of a break just for a few minutes, people, because to be honest with you, I need a pee, yeah? And also I might grab a coffee, and it's coming up to 1:30. So it's, kind of bottom of the hour, kind of time for a break sort of thing. And then I'll bring on Bernie Gamage, stroke William Prentice, bless him, to talk about Mel Shaw, and I'll try and pull some more feeds in as well. So hey, give us a couple of minutes, folks. 5 minutes, and I'll be back. Yeah. Couple of minutes, folks. Couple of minutes.
Living in the same routine, like the seasons I'm on repeat.
Oh, blimey. This guy's so depressed. Never mind. Anyway, quite a nice track. Do-do-do-do-do.
Trying not to follow suit.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
like the color, I'll change the shade of it. I'm not afraid of it. I know I'm
Do-do-do-do-do.
holding on to this,
Hold on, mate.
holding on.
Yeah, yeah. Hang in there.
I know I'm
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
holding on to this,
Oh, blimey. Knees up.
holding on. Don't let me repeat it. Don't let me repeat
Oh.
Fast forward a year or two, friends have changed, but so can you. So can you.
Oh, mate, I'll tell you what, you need to cheer up. You really do. Hold on, hold on. There we go. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. One minute, people. One more minute of this absolute awful track. Sorry, I apologise. It is copyright free. Facebook, it's copyright free. Right, okay, that'll do. That's enough of that. Hold on, there we go. Yeah, right, good. So I'm just trying to pull in I'm just trying to pull in this Rupley feed but this is Paris. This is Paris, Stav. Oh, okay, maybe you've given me a different link now. Let me have another look. Let's see if we got a different link. And I'll pull in this. Stay Vickers has chucked us another link, which I'll try and queue up as well. And let's see if we can see this. So bear with me, people. Bear with me. Kind of on the hop here a little bit. And we'll call this before. There it is. So you can see that now. And this looks like Paris, I think. That looks more Parisian than London to me. Yeah. So anyway, and I'll look at Stay Vickers' link in a sec as well. This is Rupley, who have been having the usual problems that everybody has with these demos, with people's batteries running out and stuff like that, because it's pretty much all done with smartphones on these days, on these gigs, and so everybody has to do the best they can to cover it. But thank goodness for RT, huh? Thank goodness, because that's what Rupley is, RT. And compare that to the coverage we get from the BBC. I mean, it really just says it all, doesn't it? It really says it all. According to the BBC, it was all dying down, the Yellow Jackets in France. Yeah, well, it looks like it, doesn't it? 9th week? Yeah, 9th week. I thought it was the 8th, but somebody put me right and said it's the 9th week of protests in France. And if we can carry on with this trajectory as well, Dave Witch is watching now, he says. Hey, Dave, God bless you. Then, well, we're going to get somewhere. We're going to get somewhere. But we really do need to keep the momentum going and just build it up. It's obviously just kicking off in the UK, thanks to Tracy Blackwell, to James Goddard, and to a few other folks. Just decent people who are not organisers. They're not organisers. They're just people that, wanted to don a yellow vest, and other people have joined them. They're patriots. They're just people that care. And God bless them. God bless them. We should all be very, very grateful to them. So, yeah, okay, all right. So that is the scene in France. And I'll have a look and see if I can pull up Stay Vickers' link as well. Unfortunately, I'm at the moment, I'm only putting on one feed at a time on the screen. I'd like to have more than one feed at a time, but the tech is not very happy with that. So that is, let's have a look. This looks more like London to me. Oh no, I don't know. I'm not sure where that is offhand. Is that London or is that France? That's London, because that's a Welsh flag there. Okay, let's stick with London, eh? Let's stick with London. We know that the Yellow Jackets are doing well in France, that it's continuing. I think probably most of us are particularly interested to know what the deal is in Blighty in the UK, and how this demo will grow over the course of the afternoon. They're now walking outside the Canadian embassy there. I think we want to see what's going on with our country, huh? Steve Vickers says, try my best to find in Manchester. Yes, please, Steve. Yes, please. We want to see what's going on in Manchester as well. Stavros says, it's 9 protests as they came out New Year's Eve too in France. 9 protests. as they came out on New Year's Eve as well. And compare that to the mainstream media. Just haven't been covering it really, have they? I mean, this is enormous. France is in absolute chaos, and it's spreading throughout Europe. And if you rely on the mainstream media in the UK, you could be forgiven for thinking that nothing's happening. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's, I think, a state of emergency. Actually, I think a state of emergency was declared in France about 2.5-3 years ago, and they never called it off. But about a month ago, or 6 weeks ago, Macron kind of said it had been reimposed. It hadn't actually stopped the state of emergency that France was in, which, from the point of view of the executive, could be useful from the point of view that the police have further powers in a state of emergency. It's basically one step towards martial law, isn't it? Anyway, yes, they have a state of emergency in France. Stav says it's absolutely massive in Paris. It's looking pretty big in London, huh? It's looking pretty big in London. It's okay, let's have a listen. Let's have a listen to this.
I thought maybe that was Antifa. I thought that maybe that was Antifa coming. I thought, fucking hell, this is going to get really messy. But no, actually, it's guys protesting the genocide of the Cameroons, and that was beautiful just seeing the two protests merge together like that briefly. That was really nice. I like that. Beautiful.
Looking pretty busy to me. Looking pretty busy. This is a great start. If we can now be doing this every weekend, I think that we're going to be picking up a lot of momentum. It's going to be impossible for the media to ignore this, one would think. One would think.
Yeah, it looks like they're merging.
So we've got two demos merging here. One is against Cameroon. Genocide in Cameroon, I guess, is the story there. And they seem to be merging with the Brexiteers because basically it's about people, wherever you are, against plutocracy.
Right. Amazing. Amazing.
That he's right. That is very, very touching, huh? That is very touching.
Police have completely lost control.
That's beautiful. Wow. Wow, that is beautiful.
I got some bad news, guys. My battery is so low right now. Just be aware if it cuts out, I'm very sorry. Especially, I'm so glad we managed to capture that moment. If it cuts out, I will be back in about 20 minutes once I recharged it.
Okay, we're there. We'll be with you. We'll be back. That's Pro Great Britain's page there. Now I don't know who that guy is. If anybody can tell me the name of that guy, I'd like to know, please. Please let us know. Now, I'm going to look for That's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful passion going on there. Beautiful, beautiful demonstration. Okay, let's have a look and see what we've got here, which is live. Mark Daniels, this is. And actually, that might be the same. That might be the same. That might be Mark Daniels that we saw before.
Don't give up. We're going to
Wow.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
Very exciting.
Don't give up. 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 Drop back. Drop back. Drop back.
Okay, so that's a different part of the route there. That's a different part of the route because we can't see any Cameroon flags. So that's a different part of London, just round the corner there. Good man, PJ. Thank you. I'm opening that. And there's the clock, people. There's the clock. 83 days, 9 hours, 5 minutes and 54 seconds. That's the new Daily Brexit site. It'll be live very, very soon. Aye. My British Rail.
Now this is good. We've got another crowd joined us.
So yeah, what we're seeing here is the video with the Cameroon flags a minute ago is further towards the head of our yellow vests in London, and this is the tail end of the yellow vests in London. That's the difference, to give you an idea of the perspective on the ground. And Helen Lasky-Smith is saying that she thinks that Manchester was stopped. This is Paris, and look at those police in riot gear. And I think Helen is right. Oh, hold on a sec. We've got some scuffles going on in Paris. This is live. I understand it's a live stream from Rutley in Paris. I think that what happened in Manchester was that they were being kettled, according to James Goddard earlier on his stream. I think they were being kettled in Manchester. So Paris is looking rather nasty. I don't know if you saw the Daily Brexit show a couple of weeks ago. French snipers. It's worth having a look. Basically showing video footage of snipers shooting into the crowd. We know that people have died in Paris, and possibly a couple of those deaths were due to French snipers. It is getting rough in Paris, Stavros says. The thing is that people just don't trust Macron, do they? He is saying, oh, you know, I'll give you an extra £100 a month or something. They are fed up to the back teeth of this Rothschild's banker. That's the bottom line. And the whole system, they're fed up to the back teeth of uncontrolled migration. of the knifings and all the rest of it that's going on throughout Europe, the lawlessness that has been created. These are pretty astounding pictures in Paris, huh? Throughout Europe, people are fed up to the back teeth of it, and they do not trust Macron to be sorting it out truly, diligently, genuinely. When he is saying on the one hand he will give them an extra tuppence halfpenny, but he hasn't erased the tax cuts for the rich, and a lot of the rich in France are seeing a massive tax reduction. I mean, this is fascism. This is fascism in progress, and this is the effect of that cause. Linda Hutchings says it's a sad state of affairs, and it is a sad state of affairs. It is a sad state of affairs. It's a terrible state of affairs. What do we do? Do we just allow ourselves to be taxed through the nose? Do we just allow ourselves to see our lifestyles decrease? I'm going to show you a video now, actually, of Katie Hopkins, who... I'm going to show you this, see if I can find this video. I'm going to take a bit of a diversion to show you what an amazing piece that she put out a couple of days ago, basically talking about what the government is doing to attract migrants into the UK with our tax, with our money, from our purse. Whilst our veterans and so on and so forth are not being looked after, as we know. Let me see if I can find that. I'm keeping an eye on France as well. It's basically a standoff at the moment. But this is a very powerful video that people should be sharing. And so let me see if I can. Let me see if I can show you this. Because really, and then I'll go back to France. This is a 2-minute piece, and it really does need to be seen. She's a good girl. It's Anne Hopkins. Now, this is what she had to say a couple of days ago about what's going on with the state of migration and how it is affecting us, and how the government is attracting migrants to the UK. All right, this is Katie Hopkins.
Trying to come across the channel, one of the biggest shipping lanes in the whole of the world. Well, it's because of this.
Okay, all right. This is this. Okay, here we go. Listen to this, people.
Are you wondering why so many migrants are trying to come across the channel, one of the biggest shipping lanes in the whole of the world? Well, it's because of this. It's because your government, the British government, advertises to these asylum seekers what you'll get. Let me tell you what you'll get if you're an asylum seeker in the UK. Whether you're actually an asylum seeker or whether you were perfectly safe in France, for example. You'll get somewhere to live.
This is okay. Hold on a sec. I'm going to play this again. Yeah, I want everybody to be completely aware of this. This is an amazing story. Where is the media coverage? I'm going to start it again because the audio wasn't so good. It'll be better now.
The biggest shipping lanes in the whole of the world. Well, it's because. Are you wondering why so many migrants are trying to come across the channel, one of the biggest shipping lanes in the whole of the world? Well, it's because of this. It's because your government, the British government, advertises to these asylum seekers what you'll get. Let me tell you what you'll get if you're an asylum seeker in the UK, whether you're actually an asylum seeker or whether you were perfectly safe in France, for example. You'll get somewhere to live.
Come on. Stop buffering. Stop buffering. I'm keeping an eye on France. I'll take us back there in just a sec. This is a couple of minutes. If the damn thing will stop buffering. I'll put this link in the comments as well. There you go. Oh, no, that's my page. Oh, dear. Hold on a sec. I'll see if I can find the link for the actual video. Well, anyway, it's down my timeline there. Oh, come on! Might be coming up to the time of day to restart my web browser to clear the RAM. But let's have another go with this. Yeah, daily Brexit, daily chaos. Oh, what's the difference? Oh, come on. Here we go. Right. Helen says she's heard this. It is a very, very powerful piece. My internet is struggling a bit with all these tabs open. I'll sort that out at the top of the hour. Here we go. Right. This is the piece. Let's have another go.
Are trying to come across the channel, one of the biggest shipping lanes in the whole of the world. Well, it's because of this. It's because your government, the British government, advertises to these asylum seekers what you'll get. Let me tell you what you'll get if you're an asylum seeker in the UK, whether you're actually an asylum seeker or whether you were perfectly safe in France, for example. You'll get somewhere to live, a cash allowance or both. You can choose whether you want a flat, a house, a hostel or bed and breakfast. How lovely is that? I wonder if we serve it to them in bed. I do hope so. Cash support, you'll get £37.75 for every person in your household to help you pay for things like food, clothing and toiletries. I am actually reading this from the government website. Your allowance will be loaded onto a debit card each week to make it easy for you to spend what you want to spend. Isn't that nice? And even if you've been refused asylum seeker, you're a failed asylum seeker in my country, your country, you'll be given somewhere to live and £35.39 per person on a payment card. This is what we're handing out, and then we go on to tell them you may get free National Health Service, such as to see a doctor or get hospital treatment. You'll get free prescriptions for medicine, free eye tests, free glasses. I ask you, as a British citizen, as someone that's paid in all their lives, do you get free prescriptions? Have you been offered a free place to live or somewhere that gives you bed and breakfast? Have you been offered £300 maternity payment just because you're having a baby? I thought not. These are people who are here often illegally, and this is what we promise them. And is it any wonder that they choose to come? This country is a soft touch. It's time we started standing up for the British nationals who live here and our ex-service personnel who are offered nothing like this, nothing of the sort. In March 2018, close to 50,000 people were in receipt of these kind of benefits. Stop making our country a joke. Start standing up for our own.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Going back to France. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That Hopkins is awesome, isn't she? She's awesome. God bless her. So that's France going on. And it looks as though Rutley has got a split screen with 4 different views. I'm just pulling in London as well, so we should be able to see both demos side by side. So the audio you can hear is mainly London. Okay, Hazel would call it. It's all deliberate, part of the plan to start World War III. Yeah, auto ab KO, huh? Brian Pratt, this government has got a lot to answer for. They have to go. This government, this parliament, this entire political class, nearest damn it throughout the world. Vote for Britain. Anne-Marie Waters says Valerie Wand. I have to say, Valerie, I'm rather concerned that Britain First is just going to split the vote. And if we want to have representation in our parliament, that we have to decide who we're going to vote for strategically to get some bums on seats that we can rely on. I don't think Britain First are going to get any seats, I have to tell you. And therefore, it seems to me, and here we go, there is my membership card. I just a few weeks ago, joined UKIP. That's my membership card there. I don't know if you can see that. Not because I like party politics. I do not trust any of these parties, frankly, although I do like what I hear from Gerard Batten very much. But it seems to me that if we want representation in Parliament as part of a coalition, working in a way not dissimilar to the way that the DUP has during this government, then what's the point of voting for Britain First? You've got to vote for UKIP. They're the only ones that have got a hope to get in there, it seems to me. I'm sorry to have to say that. I'd like to see all of these parties, if you like, to the right, to join together, to come together, instead of like Bill Etheridge, buggering off, frankly, because he doesn't get on with the leader. I find that incredible. I like Bill. He's been on the show, 3-4 times. He's a nice guy. But the fact is that it's about the country now, yeah? We got to set aside our differences, whatever they are. But also, I would like to hear from UKIP that they want Anne-Marie Waters, for example, to come back into the fold. I want to hear that. I want to hear these calls for unity. A lot of people are upset because Gerard Batten is sharing a platform with Tommy Robinson. I think they're wrong. I think that Tommy Robinson represents an enormous number of people who haven't been given a voice, haven't been represented for decades. And those people need representation. They feel, whether rightly or wrongly, they feel represented by him and a lot of the things that he says. And it seems to me that Gerard Batten is seeing that and is trying to pull in. I hope. But then again, they might have another election in UKIP in I don't know, what is it, 8 months or 6 months or something? And we might get another Henry Bolton in, who is a fake? No? I don't know. You tell me. Look, folks, I'm going to leave you with these protests with the audio up in London for a couple of minutes because I need another pee. And then maybe we can, maybe one or two of you want to come on Discord and we can debate just what I said. Because I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm right. And I'm not saying that For Britain is a bad choice necessarily. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we have to be strategic in the way we vote. If we want to change our parliamentary system, we've got to get bums on seats in the chamber to do that. Anyway, I'm going to take a pee. I'll leave you with London and France just for a couple of minutes. Sod's law, it's frozen up. Is it frozen up? Oh, blimey. Hold on a sec. I can hear the audio. Rupley live video is interrupted. Oh, it's back on Rupley. Okay. I'll leave you with Paris. I'll leave you with Paris for a minute. Hold on, I'll refresh London. Let's get London back. I'll tell you what. I need a urinal in the study here. Right, okay. We're back with London by the looks of it. Need a pee, I'll tell you. Need a government that's worth having. Blimey. Right, I don't know what's going on. Oh, there we go. We're back with London too. Come on. Come on. Oh, crying out loud. It's struggling. I'm not surprised. There's a lot of mobile phones in there. Okay, bear with me, people. Couple of minutes. I'll leave you with those feet.
Ça gaz. C'est à Paris. On voulait aller à l'Assemblée nationale quand la manif était déclarée, mais on peut pas, on est bloqué. Et ben voilà, ça commence à gazer. C'est parti. Ça gaze. On va en prendre plein la gueule encore. Ah, je vais descendre parce que je vais en prendre plein la gueule.
He's got a Gilet, we should go.
Okay. All right, let's take a few comments. Nigel Ely, I agree, Ollie. These small parties will split the vote. I recently said this to one of the new party leaders, and he thought I was antagonistic, and he went pear-shaped, which was not my intention at all. But we all have to come together, and UKIP, like us or not, like it or not, are the party with the funding history and outreach. Unless you have 20 million quid to get your message out, you will split the vote next general election, and Lib Lab Con are laughing at us. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Nigel Ely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I even question the patriotism of these people that are jumping ship from UKIP. I really do. And I find Nigel Farage's remarks incredible as well. You know, it was James Goldsmith that set up UKIP, what, 35 years ago? No, it wasn't 10 years ago. It was about 35 years it has taken UKIP to get to the stage where it's at now. With a history of all sorts of fascination. I mean, we didn't have Kilroy Silk in there for a while, and all sorts of characters have been involved. And it's gone up and down and what have you. It takes a long time to organise a political party. A very, very long time. And I think we have to be realistic about that.
Roughly up here. That is Russian times.
I think we have to be realistic about that. Now, let me see if what's going on with this London feed. But you know, I'm not even sure that having an alliance, in inverted commas, between, say, UKIP and, I don't know, the DVP, for example, the Democrats and Veterans Party, I don't think there's any point to it, because it's nice as an idea. It's a nice theory. You know, we'll fight this seat and you can have that seat over there to fight. It's nice in theory, but the fact is that when these guys are on the doorstep from the DVP and they say, you know, we're going to fight the next election, the guy's going to go, who are you? What is your history? I don't know anything about you. I will vote for that donkey over there with a blue rosette or the red rosette. That's what will happen. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I might be wrong. It's not that I don't want to see these parties succeed. I would like to see independent MPs in the Commons. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see PR. Personally. I'd like to see, and were there PR, then the UKIP would have as many seats as the SNP, or would have done the last government. I'm not sure about this last one because they didn't do so well, because everybody thought that this Conservative Party or the Labour Party would honour the referendum, which is what they both said in their manifestos, and which apparently now they are backtracking on. We know that. They're just liars, absolute liars. We have to get rid of Lib Lab Con. And if you're gonna vote for a smaller party that the vast majority of people have never heard of and therefore won't vote for, I'm really sorry to have to say you're throwing your vote away. That is my opinion. If we could get to a stage where we did have enough representation in the Commons via what would have to be a coalition government. A bit like the DUP at the moment holds so many cards on this Conservative government because it's a coalition. Imagine if at the next general election, when all the tally is done, when all the results are in, if UKIP just got, say, 5 seats, if they got 5 seats, they could be a part of a coalition government. At the last election, very, very high likelihood they could have been brought into a coalition as an official partner of a coalition government to help, May's government. Now, in that situation, then you can start turning things around potentially, and start making an impact to reform what's dubbed parliamentary democracy. But until we get to that stage, I don't see how it can happen unless we have a total uprising and an Oliver Cromwell style revolt with a civil war. I don't see how it can be done peaceably unless we can get a coalition partner in there. And the only feasible party to do that, surely, is UKIP. Therefore, I find it incredible that some of these folks have jumped ship and quite cynical, actually. And I find it very, very concerning. And I will try and get Bill back on the show to discuss precisely that. I like the guy. I like the guy very much. He seemed like a lovely bloke. But the bottom line is this about your career or is this about your country? Yeah? Anyway. Streams are ceasing. Streams are ceasing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a few comments and then I'm going to stop this show because we're coming up. And then I'm going to completely shut down my computer and reboot it because it'll clear out the RAM and what have you, clear out some of the cobwebs. And then hopefully we can have a better afternoon streaming some of these things. So I'll read a few comments first, though. PJ Tansley, take too long for that. What we need to realize is democracy is the problem. We need something brand new. Whatever works well against tyrannical dictatorships. I agree with you, PJ. But how do you go about that? As I say, without a civil war. How do you go about that? But I do agree with you. We need a complete reformation of our political system. Desperately. I've got Splitter here in the green room, who I think is David Laddie. Splitter, can you hear me? On Discord. Well, he can't hear me at the moment. No, he can't hear me at the moment. But keep trying. Oh, he's yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go. Splitter, can you hear me? Oh, good. Okay. Now, for some reason, I don't know why. Oh, you've just popped back in the green room. I don't know why you've done that. For some reason, on Discord. Yeah, it's not. It's oh dear. Okay. Let's hope. I hope people can hear what you have to say. What would you like to say, sir? I can't hear you at all. Okay. Aye. Stavros says 75% of the French people want it. Well, actually, the story I read was that 80% of the French people want what the Yellow Jackets are asking for, which is for there to be referenda when 100,000 people or so say they want to have a referendum. There is a referendum, and it's based on the Swiss model, that there will be a referendum on a point of law, and that the executive must abide by. That is an enormous story, which I am sure, again, was barely covered on the BBC. But that is a fantastic story. Yes, Stav, it is an incredible story. And my word, that would make a huge difference. David Laddie says he can hear me, but David, I couldn't hear you. I'm going to pull you back. Can you hear me now? I can't hear you, but anyway, we'll keep trying. Maybe it'll help when I reboot this machine in about 5 or 10 minutes time. Oh, what would you like to say? All right, okay, no worries. Good to see you about, mate. Aye. PJ Tansley says, but not all the 25% are to blame, but they'll suffer. Okay, so he's referring to Stav is on the one hand saying 75% or 80% or whatever the statistic is that was polled that say they want there to be referendums that the French people can decide on their law, as opposed to at the moment they're being railroaded into, for example, the UN Migration Pact by these Rothschild bankers and so on and so forth. They want to be able to make these decisions for themselves, more along the lines of the Swiss model, for example. So that's what Stav's saying. On the other hand, PJ is saying, but not all the rest of these people, 25%, whatever, are to blame, but they'll suffer. And yes, PJ, yes, you have a point. You have a point. If you can come up with a better system than democracy, let us know. As Churchill said, it's a rotten system, but it's the best system we got. And it seems to me that we don't have it. We do not have democracy at all. Not along the lines of what Plato tried to get himself killed to implement. But nonetheless, we have something approaching that, at least, which is different from abject tyranny. Well, they're trying to change this right now. We see that. We want more control over our democracy. We want better democracy. But how we go to a completely different system, you talk about 25% or 25% suffering. To get to that, how many people would die in a civil war is another way of looking at it. But look, PJ, this is a very interesting debate, and I know you have strong views about this. Get on Discord and let's chat it up. Daniel Gale, plenty of things could get changed if we had a referendum. If 100,000 people petitioned for one, the House of Lords, Traitor May, the Mayor of London. God, the list is endless. Yes, it would, and I kind of think Tony Blair might end up on the end of a rope as well. PJ Tansley, G4S, bad enough in job centres. Don't want them on streets doing the beatings, do we? And John Middleton says, divided kingdom. Yeah, absolutely. Look, folks, what I'm going to do, because as you can see, the streams are ad hoc and coming on and off. And I want to have a good afternoon's streaming. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to close the browsers. I've got about 20-30 tabs open here. So I'm basically going to close the lot. And then come back with as few things to consume RAM as possible to try and produce a better show this afternoon, which will include Bernie Gamage, aka William Prentice, coming on to have a chat about Melanie Shaw and her situation. Plus, we'll be keeping a close eye on Paris. And on London, and trying to find out what has happened in Manchester today. And hopefully one or two folks can come on and we can discuss. There's this very valid point that PJ Tansley mentions about the fact that so many people are not represented. I have to say, compare that, though, PJ, to the lack of representation over Brexit. 52% of the population are not being represented at the moment. Anyway. Okay, all right. Folks, I'm going to close off and then going to be coming back in about... I will come back at 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock I'll come back. The top of the hour. So it's a nice clean number. And so there you go. Alrighty. Yeah. Oh, blimey. And in the meantime, here's to us. And yeah, bugger plutocracy. That's it. Bugger me. Bugger that. Yeah. Yeah, 3 o'clock, people. 3 o'clock.
Ça montait à 2000. 2000 tout à l'heure, on était au niveau de la rue par République à Lyon. Ça faisait déjà beaucoup de bordel. Et là, je sais pas ce qui s'est passé. Je sais même pas quelle heure c'est. Mais entre 2h et 3h, donc là, on est sur une base de 3 km de cortège. Voilà, l'autoroute elle est bloquée. Il y a trop de monde, les CRS sont saoulantes, sont débordés. Et on va dire un sondage limite dans le cortège, tout le monde parle d'une base de moins de 3500 à 4000 personnes maintenant. Je sais pas quelle heure c'est là, on va le milieu d'après-midi. Donc Lyon, ça y est, hein, acte 8, le plus mobilisateur clairement, et le gros bordel. Voilà, il y a trop de monde, l'autoroute elle est bloquée. Là-bas, il y a 800 mètres devant, l'autoroute elle est pleine de gilets jaunes, l'autoroute A7. Voilà, donc je vais vous dire un soutien belle aussi. Alors attendre un petit peu. Ouais, on peut rejoindre les stations de ski par la 7. Je vous ferai un petit topo. Il y a le périph' pas loin. Oh, il y a l'hélico qui est juste au-dessus, le pauvre à mon avis, il sert plus trop à grand chose parce que la foule, on n'a pas besoin d'hélico pour l'avoir. Bon, alors, oh là là, putain, la foule, ça va jusqu'à Confiance ou quoi là? Ça va jusqu'au midi Confiance. Alors, là on arrive sur la 7. Bon. Alors, je vais essayer de vous montrer. Il y a le musée Confiance qui est au fond, le fameux musée, l'œuvre d'art. Bon, je pense au milieu du cortège. Parce que là-bas, ça arrive. Et devant, il y a 1 kilomètre de gilets jaunes devant. On est sur l'autoroute. Ouais.
Hey, Chris. David. Hello, mate. Listen, I'm going to try and I'm still streaming on YouTube. Hey, YouTube. Back at 3:15. Alrighty. Ciao, ciao.